What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lucas Live. My name is Lucas Tyndale. It is Wednesday, July 15th. I have two great guests here today. Mr. Tommy Karcher of the Karcher Group is here to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about AI. Have you guys been seeing a lot of AI flyers out there? Have you had an opinion about it? Do you think about it? Have you used it? Have you used AI for flyers? We're going to talk about that. What's the future of AI as far as website building and other things? We're going to get into it. He works for a large marketing company that his father founded with very innovative ideas that people don't necessarily know. Kind of that his dad was one of the first people to do websites and understand how Google worked and things like that. And it's right here in our area, their business. And he's been in the business, I'm guessing Tommy's been in the business his whole life. I don't know. But we're going to talk about that today, which is a very exciting topic for me. And we're going to give you guys some insight on some of those things. We also have Panther Spurlin, ladies and gentlemen. If you know Panther, you love Panther. She is a community health worker. She's just finished studying to be a doula. So if you're having a baby and you need somebody to doula the baby, I'm not sure what the term is exactly, midwife type of thing. My midwife and the doula is different. I think we're going to learn about that today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a great episode. I'm excited to talk to these people. Two people I talked to anyway. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And we want you guys to join in. Make sure you share this broadcast. I'm going to do that right now. We are live at Lucas Live Media on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Hello, everybody coming from wherever you're coming from. We welcome you guys to the show. We thank you guys for tuning in. So I do this every day. This is just like our ritual here. We go through and we make sure, and it's funny because I do this every day, and then every time I go to do it, I'm like, wait, what's the button to push? Make sure you share it and tag somebody. If you know somebody or you know somebody on the show today and you want your family and friends to tune in, tag them and say, tune in. You're going to miss it. Don't miss it. Also, you can share it from YouTube. If you hit share on YouTube, you can then share it to your friends, family, a group chat, whatever it may be. I want to start now by shouting out our sponsors. We want to thank Sarda for always riding with us, whatever we're doing. We are grateful for them. Your mic doesn't sound okay. My wife is telling me there's something wrong with my mic. Thank you, babe. I appreciate that. See, that's good tech support from let me work it out. Testing. We're gonna work this out. Oh, I see what it is. Thank you. Okay, my wife, thank her for figuring out that my mic isn't right. Hold on, gentlemen. Oh, there it is. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, babe. See, that's tech support in the background. She got my back. Thank you. I was echoing in an empty room. Good morning. Let's start that over, everybody. If you were listening to that beginning and it sounded like I was in an echoey room, I'm here with Tommy Karcher, the Karcher Group. His dad started TKG. We're going to meet with him today. We're excited about it. We have Panther Spurlin, who is a community health worker and just finished her studies to be a doula. And we are here live, ladies and gentlemen. Live lends to, there's some technical difficulties sometimes because we're here live, but we're excited about today's show. Good morning, babe. Thank you so much for the text message. How do we sound, babe? How are we sounding? Are we better? I sounded like I was in an empty room, she said. It's there we go. Thank you. It's the technology. It was actually the sound was coming from the camera, which is across the room, instead of this mic, this hooked to the soundboard, this hooked to all the stuff because of some connection. So thank you so much, babe. Welcome, everybody. Feel free to say hi in the comments. If you're tuning in as you get ready for work, you don't have a lot of time, stay tuned, listen to it like a podcast. If you're watching this by replay, type replay in the comments. We love our replay viewers. We appreciate you guys for checking out the show. I want to thank our sponsors again. Shout out to Sarda. Shout out to our friends at Jessica Danielle Nails at the Nail Bar here in Canton, Ohio, and NC Nail Lounge in North Canton. When you hear our sponsors and you hear their names, our ask of you is to check them out, follow them, support their businesses because they support ours. There's no way for me to do this show multiple days a week without them. And I'm like, we have new ones coming. We're always like finalizing things. So we have some new ones coming. Some may rotate over time. We're also going to be adding a few new shows. We're working on some things as well. So people who are interested in advertising with us, it's a great opportunity. You know, we bring great people on from all over the city. It gets you in front of a diverse group of people from business to all over the community. So reach out to us if that's something you're interested in. Shout out to the Linda Reibenstein team. Linda Reibenstein has been doing real estate for over 30 years here in our area and all over the state of Ohio. She knows her stuff. So if you're looking for somebody in this time where housing is complicated and you don't know what to do and you're worried about different things, her and her team know their stuff. Check her out, the Linda Reibenstein team. And shout out Ace Carpet Cleaning, part of the Jenny Can Cleaning family. If you guys see Jenny Can, she advertises everywhere. She partners with everybody. Now, I've known her since she had toilet brush, and a mop. When she first started Jenny Can Cleaning, and then later bought Ace Carpet Cleaning, a great friend of mine. We go way back. She does great work. Her people actually care. So if you're looking for a cleaning service, check out Jenny Can Cleaning. And if you need those carpets clean, reach out to Ace Carpet Cleaning. Okay, her businesses are about doing things with care. Okay, so check them out. Shout out to our great sponsors. We're grateful for them and all that they do for us. Also, I want to announce we do have the R&B Fest coming up this weekend. Do I have a flyer for that? Let's see. I do. Okay, good. I almost forgot about that. The R&B Musicfest 2026 is happening this Friday at Centennial Plaza. Tickets are on sale for a few more days through Friday. Buy one, get one free. A general admission ticket is $32. So if you buy one, get one free, that's just $16 a piece. So you can go on the site, you can go to Centennial Plaza's site, you can go to just straight to Ticketmaster, check it out. Reach out to me, I'll send you the link. We want to see you guys there. I'll be there. I have the pleasure of being the MC and hosting it. DJ Charlie Parker will be the DJ. We have great local groups. If you guys have heard or seen the Unit Band, they were just at the African American Festival. Absolutely amazing. I don't know how I didn't know them before, but they are absolutely amazing. I got to get them on the show. They were absolutely phenomenal. So the Unit Band, the Robert Johnson Experience, you guys know Rob Johnson, all over the community, all over the country, really doing music. Great guy. They'll be there, as well as Eve Fonts, Light the Flow. She will be there doing one of her new songs. You guys know she was on J. Cole's album, was up for BT Award, all of those things, right? We want to support our community. You may not have ever seen her live. This is your chance right here at Centennial Plaza. And if the weather doesn't hold up, we will be at the Civic Center. So it's right down the street, totally covered inside. So get those tickets, rain or shine, we're going this Saturday at 5:30. Gates open at 5. You do have to buy your ticket. Even if it says Centennial Plaza, you're not going to be able to sneak in. They are blocking off the streets that get you close. I made a video about this, and I want you guys to know they're not doing it to be mean. It's not like block off the streets. No, it's like you got to sell ticket in advance because it allows them to bring in more high level, national artists, let's say, right? And you may say, well, it's not like they're bringing in Beyonce. And nor are the ticket prices, though. Okay, we're talking about buy one, get one free at $32. So for $16 a person, it makes sense. And the city is bringing this together, and they're not making money off of this. And I've had a lot of great conversations with them about how this works. They're like, it's not about making money. They don't even expect to break even, but they do need to recoup some of the cost of some of these things. And that's what it's about. So ladies and gentlemen, we hope you guys buy your tickets and come check out R&B Fest. We want to do this every year. It's the first one. If you don't support stuff, then it doesn't come back. And then you're like, there's nothing to do in this area. We got to support it. I love live music. If you love live music, let me know in the comments. I love live music. Let me know. Hope to see you guys at R&B Fest this Saturday, 5:30. Doors, gates open at 5 p.m. And we're not going to have anybody rushing in the gates. My wife might have been at the Jay-Z concert this past weekend, babe. I don't know if that was true. You can let me know in the comments without me. I am going to do my Netflix documentary on my wife being at the Jay-Z concert without me. Stay tuned for my Netflix documentary. Her and my daughter and Joy and her daughter, and they were in New York anyway because of her wonderful bookmark has opened many doors. So she was already there. So why not trickle on over to, Yankee Stadium and see Jay-Z and Rihanna and Usher and Pharrell and Jermaine Dupri and all of these amazing people that I grew up watching my whole life. And it's all good. They had a great time, though. They got great pictures. It's absolutely amazing. Beyonce comes out, right? All those things. So shout out to her. Shout out to that. But some people rushed in. Some people broke in, which made the concert delayed for 3.5 hours. So at midnight, she's texting me the concert didn't start. I'm like, no way. What does that mean? There's 3 hours of opening acts. She's like, nothing started. I was like, yikes. So glad they stayed. So glad they got to see it. Shout out to them. Shout out to all the fun music things going on. I'm a big music fan. So make sure you guys check it out and support. We also have some Hall of Fame events coming up. We will be talking more about, I'm looking around like I had a flyer here somewhere. We'll be talking to you guys more about the Hall of Fame events. I think so often we only know about what we know about. So if you know about the grand parade, you may go to that. If you know about the community parade, you may go to that. But there's other things. There's fashion show. There's a roundtable discussion. There's the game, which a lot of times people never even go to. There's a concert. There's so many other things. The balloon liftoff has some great things. And my friend Lindsay Zimmerman. I got to see what this is called. I was supposed to text me yesterday. Lindsay, if you're watching, I did see your text. Now, what did I do with it? I didn't get a chance to get back to you. What's up, Lucas? I know when I was on your show, I mentioned the Soaring Soiree. That is coming up next weekend. So I may have her pop in on the show. I'll check it out. But it is an opportunity. If you ever go to the Balloon Classic and you see people under these big tents and it's like Altman and big companies, and you're like, I don't work for them, so I never get to do that. You'll have an opportunity to do that this year because there's going to be one where you can just purchase a ticket, have a tent, food, all kinds of great stuff. And Lindsay Zimmerman is helping put that together. So you guys make sure you check that out. Also, I wanted to say a friend of mine passed away this week, and I just wanted to send my condolences to the family. Mendez Davis, who I grew up with from Lehman to McKinley. He then went on to go to Timken. His kids, then I worked at McKinley Early Childhood Center, and he had children that came to the daycare. So it's tough when we're now in our 40s and we're losing classmates and friends. So my heart goes out to our class, to all the family and friends. And we have to, I'm a very busy person, but we have to slow down and spend time with people we care about because you just don't know. I understand he was, he was battling an illness and going through some things. So my heart goes out again to all of the family and friends, all of us who grew up together. He was an amazing athlete. He was funny. One thing I always remember about him was at McKinley, our freshman year at McKinley, the summer before you start football camp and training and lifting and all those things, even before you start school, you're going to the school to do all the training. My freshman year at McKinley was my first year actually playing football, organized football, outside of the backyard, which is absolutely crazy, and most people can't even believe it. I ended up starting my freshman year and things, but I was learning football purely at that time. And I remember we went in for that first workout, and the first thing we had to do was run a mile. We had to run a mile and then go in and lift inside of the field house. So if you guys know the upper inner part with the gray floor, I think it's still like that. Maybe it's a little different. And the wall that goes around the field house in that upper part, I think at 13 laps is a mile. And we had to run a mile. We didn't have to run. You just had to get a mile done before you could lift. And Dez was in front of me. He walked in before me. I think I said, what's up? I hadn't seen him in a while because I went to Hartford my 8th grade year and he was still at Lehman, and said, what's up? And then he started running. And so I just started jogging behind him. And I remember telling myself, if he doesn't stop, I'm not going to stop. I was like, if he doesn't stop, I'm not going to stop. I'd never ran a half mile, let alone a mile. And he didn't stop, and he kept going. He did 13 laps nonstop, and I did 13 laps nonstop because he did it. And I remember thinking to myself, I can drive off of the will of another person. Like, I learned that lesson that day. I was like, if somebody else is able to do it and somebody else is willing to do it, I will find good leaders. I will find others who are going further, faster, better than me, and I will drive on their will. If they believe it's possible, I'll believe it's possible. So shout out to him for that. I don't know that that's a story I've ever shared, but it taught me a lesson that I've never forgot my whole. I don't know if I know I do believe I did tell him that years later, but that was a special moment. Shout out to him. Shout out to our classmates. Shout out to all our family and friends. Our hearts go out to the family of Mendez Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, hug your loved ones, love your loved ones. Guys, tell your guys you love them, right? A lot of times, man to man, we don't always do that. I do. I tell my guys I love them. Tell your family, your friends. Make sure we stay connected, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to get into our show. As I told you guys, we have two great guests here today. We have one who's going to talk to us about marketing, one who's going to talk to us about community health and wellness, and we're going to jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, my friend, Mr. Tommy Karcher. How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. Thanks, Lucas. Really appreciate you having me on today.
Of course.
Been thinking about this and wanting to do this for a long time, so glad we finally made it happen, and
I love it.
Glad to be here.
I love it. I appreciate it. You and I, whenever we see each other, we start talking, and we stand there for an hour and a half. Things are closing. I'm like, maybe we should leave,
Yeah.
Maybe we should go.
Get caught up every once in a while, yeah.
We do get caught up every once in a while. One of the things we've been talking a lot about is marketing and AI, and we're going to get into some of that.
Yeah.
For people who may not know you, tell them who you are, tell them the company you work for and what you do.
Yeah. So I'm Tommy Karcher. I'm a second generation in a family company here in Canton, Ohio, North Canton.
Yeah.
My dad, Jeff, started TKG as the company I work for about 30 years ago, back in 97, right when the internet was kind of becoming a thing and websites weren't really commonplace, right? He would tell you that he doesn't really know how to do a lot of the things that we do. He's more of a sales guy and fell into the website world, right? And I'd say that if he was sitting here,
Yeah.
of course, after 30 years, he's learned a lot about what we do and knows it better than most. But,
Yeah.
the website world didn't exist, right? It was a lot of directory listings at that time. And he was working for a company selling directory listings to polymer companies up in Akron. He had a disagreement with the owner of that company, essentially on how the internet was going to work, right? Like he was like, "Hey, I think everyone's going to be able to build their own website, have their own mini storefront or business location on the internet."
Right.
The owner of the company at the time said, "No, I think it's too expensive. Everyone's going to be directory listings," and we kind of see how that one worked out, right? Here, 30 years later, we get to work with a lot of manufacturers and awesome family businesses building them beautiful
great websites. That's a fascinating story because it really is interesting. It sounds like the argument the other guy was making was online will have the yellow pages, which maybe before your time. Sure it is. But anyway, there was something called the yellow pages once, where all the directory of businesses were. You flip through it and you find it. So it would have made sense. And the yellow pages did have an online presence at some point. They may still, but that's how you found stuff. You need a plumber, you flip through it. You flip through it.
Right.
So it would make sense that the internet would just reflect that. But for your dad to say, no, people aren't just going to let the yellow pages, which was a company, list out all the businesses. You pay if you want your ad or your thing to be in color or fancier.
Yeah.
He was saying, no, people are going to pay and have their own. Now I can see the argument from the other side. The guy is saying, right now, everybody doesn't have their own magazine to send out to everybody. So why would they have their own website? But your dad saw that. He also got into Google early. He was working with Google early on or something.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously back then he was working with all of the different search engines.
Okay, right. Some of them probably don't exist anymore.
Oh, yes. Many of them don't.
Okay, anymore, right.
And at that time, it was called submitting your site. So you'd basically build a website and you'd give each of the search engines, you'd go submit what the site was, what it said, and what it was about, right? And when Google came onto the scene, the difference that Google had was, and eventually they could all go crawl the site and figure all that out, right?
Right.
Most of those search engines would crawl the site, see what you say you're good at, and then trust that, right? And you'd rank based on what you say you're good at.
Right.
What Google came in and made different was it used backlinking, or basically what other sites said you were good at, and used all of that in context with what you said you were good at.
Right.
To see, one, does what you say you're good at match what other websites are saying you're good at?
Right.
And how many other sites say that?
Right.
Help you rank.
So that was a totally different game. And I actually remember those days, and people were always trying to get backlinks, blogs about them and things like that. And does that still exist? Is that still happening?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And it matters a lot more. It's funny because even in our world, we kind of got away from it, right? Because you start to think, oh, that's antiquated.
Yeah, it's just SEO
stuff.
That's all you got to do is good SEO.
It still matters,
right?
And a lot of companies have good backlinks kind of built in already, but backlinking strategies still matter. It's becoming even more important with AI.
Yeah.
Right, because AI is basically the next level. It's taking where you're mentioned in every part of the internet, whether it's on socials,
you're right,
in videos, on YouTube, right, in context of what that video's whole message is,
right,
and it can use all of that information as data against or for you.
Yeah, for or against you, right? People don't like you online, and they talk about it. You're going to know about it. That's fascinating. So you and I talked a lot about AI, and just in general conversations, and even this morning. As a marketing company, it's an interesting space, right? Because
sure is.
A lot of individuals are now using AI for marketing, for flyers, for websites, for all kinds of things. There's some pushback against some of it where people are looking at some things saying, I know that's AI. There's AI. What is the term? Slush or what is? I don't know.
AI slop.
AI slop. There we go.
Yeah.
AI slop. I don't know what that is because I don't have AI slop. But AI slop. There's just tons of stuff going out there. What's your initial thought on where we are with AI. Is it generally positive? Is it uncertain? Is it negative? What's your general thought on where we are with AI?
Yeah. You know, AI, I have this conversation on a daily basis,
Mhm.
right? It is everywhere right now, and it's on top of everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Especially in the marketing world, because you can go execute stuff very quickly,
Mhm.
right? My general thought, I'm very pro AI.
Mhm.
You know, I think it's going to be a tool it's going to help us help our clients in a more efficient, effective way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to eliminate companies like us. It's not going to eliminate professional services, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Are you sure? So let me push back.
Hmm.
I mean, I hope it
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
either.
that's-
But let me push back because somebody out there is thinking this. So if once upon a time I had to hire you guys to build a website, and the website cost tens of thousands of dollars potentially, and now I can use many things. I mean, almost many of the large language models are coming out with their own things, Codex and all these other things. Then there's things like Manus and Lovable and all these other things. And you can make not only a landing page, I mean, you could make a landing page with some simple prompting and even some more layered websites if you're willing to take the time to kind of figure it out. I've done it. I've done it recently. I have a better website for Lucas Live Media than I've ever had. Granted, before I was using like Wix and other things to plug and play. I wasn't hiring somebody like you guys. How do you see those threats? Because we're not that far in. We're a few years into AI, public AI, let's say,
right.
right?
Yeah.
How does it not take away services like yours?
Yeah.
Or how do you iterate? What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question,
Mhm.
right? I think and I'm not certain about anything,
Sure.
right? They
None
could
of us
all
know.
change overnight.
All of us could be. Yeah,
Just
we don't
like
know.
you were saying earlier, like sometimes Claude or Chat, they just update and they just do these things so much better, and they don't even
Overnight, you're
have
like,
to say it because
it's
right?
like try me and see what
Yeah.
happens. Right? It works.
It's not like it's big release.
Right.
So certainly that could happen, and it could
Mhm.
put us out of business at any moment,
Mhm.
right? Do I think that that's going to happen? No. So
Because your dad's going to retire either way. I mean, he's put in his time. All right, he's out. No, he's going to be like, all right, guys, this is
at
getting
some
weird. I'm
point,
out of here.
yeah,
Right.
he's got a plan,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yes, of
Um,
course.
so I think when you look at marketing in general, right?
Mhm.
98% of the companies out there have to sell some sort of business or product or service to people,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And AI is getting really good at emulating empathy, and it's getting good at emulating those things, but it's never going to truly be able to look at a product or service and say, okay, what is a human going to feel
Mm.
when I tell them this about this,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So I think you're always going to need the human element in there
Mhm.
to understand how do we invoke emotion
Mhm.
on the human side of things
Right.
to to
To
create the
execute
action we
the
want
thing that people
them to
want.
do, right? So yeah, you can go use it to build a website. You could go use it to do this, and like you said, you've always had tools that a solopreneur or a
Yeah.
small company could go and use.
Mhm.
I would argue that that's not our target market.
But either way,
regardless,
okay, that's a great
right?
point.
We want to help companies that are 10 million to 2 billion
Mhm.
that want to invest in long-term growth and a long-term strategic partner, right?
That makes sense.
So they want someone to come alongside them and say, all right, you want to grow from 10 million to 50 over the next 10 years.
Here's the whole plan.
Here's the plan, and here's how we're going to step alongside you to help you do
Right.
that.
And it's
Right.
and it's a website and much more. At TKG, you guys are looking at their whole marketing strategy and figuring out how to build that out to help them grow. And that's a great point because what I am talking about, typically a company the sizes you're talking about, I mean, they could get to a point where they're like, you know what, to hire a person in-house to do it is possible now. Um, whatever. We'll hire somebody to do it. That is possible. But in reality, I always tell people, because like we have Footage Fusion, we do video, we do other things, people doing advertising with us. I often tell people the thing is when you hire one person to do the thing, or even a couple people to do the thing, If that 1 or 2 people leave, they leave with all your institutional knowledge, they leave with everything. That doesn't mean you shouldn't hire people, but when you hire a company, if you guys lose somebody, you're going to replace that person and the engine continues to go, and it makes sense.
Right. Yeah. You maintain that institutional knowledge. And if you think, right, most of our clients are paying us, somewhere between $4,000 and $20,000 a month.
Mhm.
That's between 1 and 4 salaries,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Depending on your level
That's a good point.
right?
Yeah.
So you're getting access to
Way more.
40 professionals
Yes, for one
for
salary.
what you might pay 1 or 2 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get a lot more specialization and you get a lot more of that strategic thinking, right? A lot of
Mhm.
times when you do find, and there are a lot of companies we work with that have 1 or 2 people,
Right.
right, to kind of help be our champion
Yes.
internally, manage things, manage the brand, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. But you think when you have someone like that, you want to come in and do your marketing, right?
Yeah.
Call it a director of marketing, VP of marketing. They're going to have typically either a lot of execution knowledge and be able to go do a lot of things, or they're going to have a lot of strategic knowledge and be able to see the bigger picture and
Mhm.
have that growth mindset,
Right.
right? It's tough to have both, and then it's tough to have the time to do both,
Mhm. Right.
right? Because strategy takes time, and I think that's going to be one of the places where AI, it can help formulate a lot of documents for
Mhm.
strategy, but it can't do the strategy,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
It can go execute a lot of things. So I
Yeah.
think strategic thinkers and growth-minded people are going to become much more valuable
Yeah.
over the next 10 to 15 years.
It's really interesting because I recently saw a stat, and I don't know how true it is, but it talked about the number of jobs that will be lost potentially because of AI, which could be huge. I think there will be huge job disruption. To me, there's no way there's not job disruption, in that even as a small business, there's things I can do now that I would need far more people to do. Now, there's still things that you still need people to do, but there's some things where it's like, well, I wouldn't even want to bother somebody with that. That's too easy. It'll do it, right? Like, it would be silly to bring somebody in and be like, sit here and do that thing, and they'd be like, why? Or they just use AI to do
Yeah.
it at this point, right? But they did talk about the jobs that will be created, which is what always happened with innovation. This one to me is one that could be different, or I think robotics could play a hand in changing things at a level that could be very different. So I don't know what the future is of all of this. I think it could be very interesting. I don't think it's something to fear. I think it's just something to be aware of, and it's something to learn. What do you say to people out there who are just flat out afraid of AI, or they're so worried that it's going to take their job that they're not going to use it? You're a young
Mhm.
professional. I mean, it's funny. We've known each other now for a few years, and it's funny to think. I'm not going to say his age. He's a young guy, and he looks a little younger. He has a kind of he's got the baby face going on. You know what I mean? He's a cool guy.
I get carded every time.
I bet you did, right? Like, I can't go anywhere. They're hard to me just to see. Are you allowed to drive? But you've been in business for a long time. You grew up around business. As a young professional, what do you think? What would you say to other young professionals about how they should engage AI or not?
Yeah. It's funny because I think a lot of young professionals I talk to are using it anyway, right?
Mhm.
They're using it in school. They're using it and I
Yeah.
think they should be.
Okay,
right?
they're using it to do all their papers. They're using it,
Yeah,
right? They're
yeah.
using
And
it.
the smart colleges right now
Yeah.
are saying use it,
Yeah.
but tell me you're using it, right?
Yeah.
It's just like Wikipedia, right? A
Yeah.
lot of times, like when I was in school, which sounds weird to say, but it was don't use Wikipedia.
That's what I was told.
It's
It's evil.
untrusted. It's
Yeah.
it's not
It's
a
a
true
wiki. They
source,
can change it.
and yeah, it's not 100% accurate.
Mhm.
But now, a lot of people that I know in school are like, yeah, we could totally use Wikipedia. Why wouldn't
I
we
can
be able
cite
to?
Wikipedia. Like, you can
Right.
cite Wikipedia.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy, right?
right. So
Yes.
institutions and colleges are coming to the realization that if we don't help these kids use these tools, they're going to be in a shitstorm
Yeah.
when they get to
Absolutely.
the workforce,
Yeah.
right? So that's encouraging. And the phrase is AI is not going to replace jobs. It's going to replace jobs where people refuse to use AI, right?
Yeah.
That's the corny phrase, but
I hadn't
it's
heard that one.
true.
I like it. You're right. You're absolutely
Um,
right.
With our team, we're basically saying, hey, your jobs are safe, but
Mhm.
let's learn how to use AI because it's going to help all of us get better and it's going to help all of us get more efficient,
Yeah.
right? We can help our clients better
We can get further
by using
faster.
it. We can
Yeah.
get further faster. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think really the message is learn how to use it.
Mhm.
Learn how to use it smart.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
um,
Good point.
I probably don't do this as best as anyone,
Mhm.
right? But because I use it ad hoc, like okay, write this email, do this thing,
Yeah.
right? But find the tasks that you hate doing.
Mhm.
Find the tasks that you do every day. Whether it's you get up and you spend the first hour of your day responding to emails,
Yeah.
or the first 15 minutes, whatever. Have it set up a little automated. Now ChatGPT just released this scheduled feature, right?
Mhm.
Go in there and they have some pre-built ones. Have it read your inbox, draft replies, and get them ready for you to go review and send.
So
Right.
what you're saying there is fascinating. If you had an assistant, you could have your assistant go through your emails, read them, create a base reply, and you'd go review that and say, no, I wouldn't have said that. Or, oh, that sounds perfect. Or, you know what, let me add this attachment. But at least they would have given you a basis to start from.
Yeah.
AI can
Trust
do
but
that.
verify.
Trust but
Right.
verify. Yeah,
Right.
it's right there.
Yeah. I've said this for years before AI was even on the scene, but have
Mhm.
you ever seen the show Mad Men?
Uh-huh.
Right. So how they had the assistants, and it's a sexist representation of it in that show.
We're not advocating. Yeah, right, right.
But I always thought like that'd be awesome to have an assistant that just follows me around and just writes down everything I say, and when I say I'm going to do right, because I'm an unorganized person,
Yeah.
right? I have to force systems around me to help me be organized.
Yes.
AI can be that
It
system.
can.
It just takes a little bit of
Muscle building.
muscle.
I'd say.
Yeah,
Learning.
yeah.
And using it. I think for myself, I got some certifications in AI to understand it better and to help other people understand it better. I use it every day and I still don't use it enough. That's
Mhm.
one thing I know. I started telling people, I started using AI in 2023. I was doing corporate training. I was at a company in Denver, I think, and it was a construction company. And the owner of this construction company was meeting with his leaders, training them on how to use AI because he was learning it. So
Mhm.
every day he was just like, use it a little more, use it a little more. 2023 ChatGPT is like, I mean, it was nothing compared to now. It was something compared to having to think everything through on your own because it was still spitting out answers very fast
Right.
and it was still very useful. What it is today is absolutely insane with agents, the ability to look at your email, your calendar, your schedule. Mine, I talk to it and it puts things into my reminders in my iPhone so then I can go back and can set the urgency. It can do so many things I'm able to do for the show and new ideas I have. Also vetting ideas. I have a lot
Yeah.
of ideas. So I talk to my AI and I talk through it. I say, what makes sense? Challenge this idea. Tell me what I'm missing. Does this make sense? Will the market want it? Because a lot of times the ideas we have in our head, we think everybody loves what we love. And while there are people out there who love what we love, we have to ask, we have to find out, is there a market big enough that is available fast enough that I can
Mhm.
reach reasonably enough to actually launch this thing? Because otherwise, your great idea, you'll see it fall flat and you'll be like, oh, I feel terrible. It's like sometimes just
It
because
just
you love
didn't
a
land
thing,
right.
it didn't land right,
Mhm.
right? So finding those things actually is really great. One question I want to ask you is about flyers, right? I think one of the hottest things in marketing is AI flyers. People
Yeah.
are using AI to make flyers every day. See a flyer for everything. People are like, I'm going to the grocery store. If you want to meet me there, here's a flyer. Meet me at the grocery store today at 2. They're like, man, it's got all these
Yeah,
details. Like,
got
here's
flyers everywhere.
right. Here's everything that's going to be at the grocery store today. It's like, calm down. What's your take as a marketing agency, as a marketing company? What's your personal take? I don't know what your company thought. Like, where are you at with it? What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's easy for AI to spit out a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they're so prevalent, right? Is because when you ask AI to help you build something, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, PNG, here you go,
Yeah.
right? And you're right. When you get an AI flyer, it's funny because I just had a client actually who's doing a tour at his plant, and he needs a flyer to go in the program for the
Mhm.
organization that's putting on the event, right? And
Mhm.
he sends me an example that was put together by AI, and he's like, "Don't use this. This is terrible." Right?
Right.
And it was so much information,
Yeah.
right? Probably about 30% of it was accurate. It didn't have his logo correct. It didn't have any of his key messaging correct, right?
Yeah.
Some of that is probably prompting,
Sure.
right? You can get it close with the right prompting and the right assets fed into it.
Right.
Right. For in our world, it's all about being on brand, right? You don't want to destroy the brand by having something out there that's not
Yes.
on brand. And one thing's not going to destroy a brand, right?
Right.
But you can basically build a project in Claude or Chat, whichever model you're using,
Right.
give it a full brand guide and just say, never deviate from this,
Yeah.
right? In
Yeah.
messaging or visuals or XYZ.
Yep.
And if that is well enough defined, it does a relatively good job. So I do think, though, we can all clock AI stuff like immediately. When
Right.
you're scrolling through LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, and you see an AI, whether it's a video or a flyer,
Yeah.
like, you know it, right? And now Facebook says
AI.
this is AI.
Yeah.
But you're like, yeah, I know.
Right.
Right.
I didn't. I'm not surprised.
There's some good and some bad to that,
Yes.
right? I think sometimes that drops trust in a brand. It can.
Currently. You
Right?
talked about that earlier,
Yeah.
though. People, you made a great point. Tell me the point you made about how people look at AI when they're using it versus the other way around. What did you say?
Yeah. So I think AI is one of the fastest adopted technologies of all time, right? Humans have adopted it so much faster than the car or the internet, or right? The internet took 10 years before people started to use it and trust it.
Yeah.
AI, it's been what, 3 years?
Yeah.
4 years, and who do you know that's not using it, right?
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
Right.
So we've learned to trust it really fast when we're using it, right? You
When to
trust
test.
the results that you get when you see someone else that's used it and you don't know the prompt that was put in to get that result. You don't. And I think that's a very interesting, that's all sociology, psychology, right?
I think it's fascinating. I think that was one of the most fascinating things you said, because it's true. We trust it for us. We're all using it for something, but then we see somebody else using it, we don't. And then as a collective, I think we look at things like flyers or some things, and there are some really bad flyers. Anybody out there who's using AI for flyers, my recommendation is, because I use it, and I do marketing, and my degree is in organizational management and marketing from the great Malone University here in Canton, Ohio. You don't need everything that's going to happen at your event on your flyer. You would never do that normally. There needs to be white space, and it may not literally be white, but there's blank space where I can like look at a thing and see what you want me to see, as opposed to you think I need every detail and every person that's going to be there and every time this party is going to happen in the future and every time, like, I don't need that. I'm not going to read that. People don't hardly read stuff anyway. That's why we do video at Footage Fusion. Check us out if you need video, because people will listen to something more than they would read something. But if you're going to give them something to read, give them the basics, give them the main things, the what, the why, the who, the where, right? It's like the simple things that they need to know to take action on whatever it is you want them to take action. It doesn't have to be this overdone thing. And then one thing I think we have to do with AI, as we close, we're going to head to our next guest here in just a second, is you can't trust it for yourself. One thing I always tell people is AI is not smart in that it plays really smart, but in that it's only reacting to what you tell it. And if you don't prompt it right, and it's only guessing the next best word. And so if you don't prompt it right, it will have you way off wrong, and it will be loud and wrong, and you're running off with what it said. And there's times I'm looking at it like it'll give me, I'm like, that's not even true. Or that is not what I asked you to do here. And they're like, you're right. I hate it when it doesn't. Like, I wanted to apologize. It's so smug.
So ready to agree with you on how wrong it is.
Yeah, it's like, you're right, I'm wrong. I just did it. But it's like, no, that's not like, that doesn't clear it up. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny. Just last night I was all frustrated because I've built this personal ledger basically, right? Because I'm bad with money and budgeting and spending and things, and I just wanted something that I could enter all my stuff in and see it all, right? I spent an hour and a half putting all my transactions from June and July in. and then I closed the tab, and it
Did-
lost all the
Oh,
data. And
yes.
it's an hour and a half, but I was like, gosh, like, why did I do that one, and why didn't it work?
Right.
Too? So I went back to the chat, and I was like, hey,
What happened?
you screwed this up. Like, I just lost all this time
Yeah.
because
You didn't say
my
it.
data's all gone
Right.
now. And it goes, you're right, that's on me.
I know.
You know,
It's like, I only hear that
okay.
so many times.
Right. And it sounds counterintuitive, but it's not intelligent.
Right. People don't know that.
It's not true intelligence yet.
Right.
And there are different beliefs that I have, right? Like, I believe that true intelligence is a God-given thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Specifically
I agree.
given to humans.
Yes.
So the next question is it going to ever get to true artificial intelligence?
Right.
I don't know if that's possible or not yet. It's going to take a heck of a lot more compute and a
capacity,
dramatic change
Yeah.
in our technological capability for it to even get close.
I love it. Perfect closing, Tommy. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for having this conversation with me. I'm sure we'll have this conversation on and on forever.
Absolutely.
And I have to have you back to continue this conversation. I think you sit in a unique seat in a unique space as a young professional who is on the cutting edge of things while understanding historical business truths from your father and growing up in business that I think grounds you, yet you still have that ability to look forward and say, what's the future of business? What's the future of marketing? So, Tommy, thank you so much for being my guest.
Thanks, Lucas. I really appreciate it. Super fun time. Always great talking with you, and looking forward to the next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Karcher of the TKG Karcher Group. He's going to swap out. Panther's coming on, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Panther Spurlin is sliding into the seat. I didn't even give her a chance for a sound check or anything. She didn't get a chance to do a preview of herself or nothing. It's all good. She knows how to do it. She's a Lucas Live person. She's a Panther Live person. She's a person who does this kind of thing. It will be no problem for her. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My friend, Miss Panther Spurlin. How are you, Panther?
What's up? How you doing?
Good, good, good. I'm gonna make you get closer to that mic,
Okay,
girl.
okay.
Don't be trying to hide from the mic.
Like, I'm
gonna
trying to
turn
hide
it.
the mic.
I know, no, you don't, because you
You
be on.
right.
I be seeing you. You be on social media and making videos and making us laugh, Panther.
Just a little, just a little.
You are such a professional and such a character at the same time. I don't know
Listen,
how you balance this.
I have to, because in the work that we do, it gets so serious,
Mhm.
and I'm really not a serious person. Like, I'm a goofball. Like,
See that?
I run around, I chase my kids and everything. Like, I'm a complete goofball. So I be trying to have some fun
I see.
all the time. I forgot my sunglasses because you said we were supposed to, if we was cool.
If it was cool,
If it was cool, and I was like,
glasses just in
oh,
case.
I
All
left my.
man.
We ain't
It's
gonna do it for
okay.
the.
We're
We
not
ain't
gonna
gonna
do it
do it
right
for
now.
today.
We'll do it another
We
day.
gonna do it
I like
another
that,
day.
right? You saw that, right?
Because I was like, where my glass? I'm trying to.
It's so fun. I was sitting there, I just grabbed my glasses. It's funny because half the time I'm sitting here, my hat on backwards, or I'm not usually wearing sunglasses in the building, but it made me think of people who do. You know, there's people who always do, and that's fine. That's their look. There's some people, you be in a dark club and they get on sunglasses. I'm like, how do you even see what's in? I can't even see.
No, I was that person. You know,
Where-
and I would wear them, and I would say it's because I want to watch what my haters is doing.
That's hilarious.
I want my
But I
haters to
can't
see what I'm
where your
doing.
eyes are going. I never thought of
I'm
that.
so
So the
corny, but
people
it's
with
okay. I love it.
the people with the glasses are actually looking around at everybody else. I didn't.
I'm watching you. You
doing
think I ain't
some
watching, but I'm watching.
People watching. What's up, Latoya Young? She said, "That's my girl." What's
Thank
up,
you.
Latoya? She was just here the other day. She was one of the models in the African American Fest. She does a
Yes.
wonderful job.
They
Yes,
did
she
an awesome job. Shout out to EMP Productions and
Yes.
Chris Strickland. They did amazing. I was so upset that I missed. You know, it was
Yeah.
important if I wasn't
Yeah, if you
at the
wasn't
African
there.
American Festival, but
Yeah.
it was important, and that's why I couldn't
wanna
make it.
Where was you at, Panther?
Well, you know what?
you don't
I
have to tell
just
us. Whatever.
you know, y'all.
Oh,
You
you
know,
were just what?
I'm about to gatekeep my own success.
I know my own
No.
success. No, you've been
So
sharing.
no,
So.
the past 3 days I was in training to become a birth doula. So I completed my training as a birth doula, lactation. That doesn't mean, you know, I'm giving you the actual.
You're not having the baby. You're
No,
not
no,
pushing
I'm
the
not
baby out?
helping you take
What
the
does a
baby
doula
out.
do? Okay, just break it down because I've heard the term. I know Tasha Peterson. I know Marche Lucas, my cousin. Others have been in that space or are in that space, and I don't. What is a doula exactly?
So a doula is a trained professional who walks through you, giving you educational support, emotional support, and physical support before, during, and after childbirth. So teaching you about what are your birth plans? What does labor and delivery look like for you? What does feeding look like for you? Do you have that support set up for you at home when nurses aren't around and it's day one and baby at home?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're a new mom or this is your seventh mom and you ain't been in the game. Every baby's going to be different. The
Yeah.
experience is going to be different. And so that's what a doula is, just to make sure everybody's on board with what mom and dad wants. I say mom and dad because a lot of times dad gets left out if they are in that picture. So mom and dad make sure what they want
Yes.
is being done.
I love that. I
So
love
so I
that.
completed that, and I just did my lactation last night. So I'm like, I'm done learning for a
Lactation
little
is
bit.
breastfeeding?
Yes, lactation is
Lactation.
breastfeeding. So
Ladies and gentlemen, let me know on my terms. I had a few kids in my day.
listen,
I had a couple. You know what I'm saying?
talking
Yeah, I know
about.
what you're talking about.
You
know
know
what you're talking
what
about.
I
I
mean?
do. I might. I've been in a lot of delivery rooms. Babies was falling out. I caught a couple babies myself, my own babies. I wasn't
Come on.
catching nobody else's baby. Yeah, I love that. And I love that you said, including the fathers and what the mothers and fathers want. It's a tough time because now we have somebody. Nicole said she said she's gonna catch my next baby. So Nicole is already ready to be a client, and she said she wants you there first, like
Listen, I'm gonna be there with my helmet on.
quarterback.
No,
I know that's what I was thinking, like a quarterback, like one, two, right? Push that baby out.
my fantasy football skills gonna come in. Listen,
You do. You're a fantasy football
I
person.
am. Yes, yes. The
love that.
ladies, yes, we are. We like football. Don't let them play.
Yes. Carolina 5321 said, "Yay, that's my girl. You go." But do you know who that is? Because when people
Yes,
are on
I
YouTube,
do.
okay.
I'm pretty sure I do. Yes, on YouTube.
Tell us who you are there on YouTube.
Hey,
When people are on
Caroline
YouTube,
girl. Yes.
it's so funny. People, I always say people's YouTube names, you don't know what they are. On Facebook, if you tell your whole government name and put your social security number in there, on YouTube, you might be somebody 19er or something. So shout out to you.
Lord.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't shared this broadcast, make sure you share it. If you're here on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you can hit the share link and share it to a family member, friend. You have to send it in a text or something. You can't just share it on YouTube per se. If you're here on LinkedIn, do the same thing. We thank you guys for being here and checking out today's episode. So Panther, again, going into being a doula who is mainly an advocate for the parents to make sure they're comfortable, they're ready, they know what's going on.
Yes.
Because I think it's interesting too, because that hospital experience is an experience. There's these days, I mean, I understand they used to be in the hospital for like a week. These days, they'll send you home without your baby.
Listen, and it's so many things that go wrong during the childbirth and the labor and delivery. I've known too many people, unfortunately, who have had bad endings, terrible experiences, especially in our community as African Americans, minorities. We're not always listened to, of course, when we're in, well, I said of course, but we're not always listened to when we're in those settings,
Right.
especially when you don't have support with you. And there's a lot of first-time moms, new moms who are just getting into this, or just people in general. They're not being looked at the
Right.
right way, and so it's causing a lot of stress. There are so many things that could be done to eliminate the infant mortality and the labor and delivery catastrophes that be going on.
Wow.
So I just wanted to be a part of that because it hit close to home. If I was having my daughter, I lost a sister in birth because the cord was wrapped around, and she was a stillborn. So this affects me personally. I've seen my friends and family go through it, and I have a daughter. I don't want my daughter to even I wish that I wish. So
Right.
I wanted to, in that time comes, my son or daughter, if they choose to, I'm gonna be in that room,
Yes.
and make sure that things are successful. And I want to be in those rooms, and just help make sure that life continues. And even if things don't go as planned, they have someone in the corner that can understand and just be there for them.
That's a powerful thing. So your role as a doula also was that a part of your training? Has to take into account that sometimes there is a worst case scenario.
Yes.
Sometimes there is a stillborn baby. Sometimes something does go wrong during the labor and delivery. So talk to me about that. Is that a part of the training? Is that something? How does that work?
We kind of dived into it. I mean, it's going to be an experience. I have not done this yet, so I know this is going to, I will at least firsthand, so I know it's going to be experience.
Yeah. The fact that you even said it was fascinating to me because I've never heard anybody even talk about it because I always think of a midwife or a doula. And it's just like everything, they're going to make sure everything works out. Like they're magic or something, like there's the doctors and the nurses and then there's them. Or if you have an at-home birth, they're there and you had a baby into the tub or the pool and everything works out because it's natural and the way God intended. But even before there were hospitals, there was even higher infant mortality because things were often not necessarily sanitary. You can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm thinking I know that I don't know, but I think your acknowledgement that something still could go wrong and that either way your goal is to be there with that family
Yes.
is a powerful statement.
Because in any profession, you cannot sit here and say everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
We don't even live in a perfect world.
Yes.
So you have to keep, yes, there are going to be times where it's not going to go as you want. And I think when we bring more awareness to that,
Yes.
we can stop it better. If we're not having the conversations of, yes, babies aren't getting born, women aren't getting listened to, dads are being put in the corner. It's a whole different vibe when you have a doula or a midwife or someone giving you that support than when you're by yourself and the doctor may be talking to you. So, and this isn't, just a here thing. This is everywhere.
Yeah.
This is a global thing. Babies are dying everywhere.
Yeah.
Moms are dying at birth. There are hospitals that say, we either
Save-
baby
yes.
lives or mom lives. Like, we're choosing life. Okay. So if we're going to do that, then we need to have people in place to make sure, like, let's ask the question, is this truly necessary?
Yeah.
Are we going to do this? Did you make sure your provider understands this? It all relates to even my work as a community health worker.
Yes.
and navigating people through the healthcare systems and things to that nature. Like, are you getting the things that you need? The problem is that when you get into that lane, now you also may have to, what resources are you
Available
needing
to you? And what do you need?
what
Okay, good
barriers
point.
are there? What's going on with this situation? How can we make sure that you're stress-free to not have no problems? Because stress hormones, all that can lead to it. But let's just make sure you are holistically well
Yeah.
from the top to the bottom.
Right. I don't think that, I mean, that's a fascinating thought, is that one, there are hospitals that say flat out, it's one or the other. Like, it's typically the baby. Is that what it typically is?
Yes, they will typically save the baby
If it's mom or the
if it's
baby and one of the
necessary.
lives are going to be at risk, or one of them they believe is not going to make it, there's hospitals that say flat out their policy, not your choice. Their policy is
I
we
went
save
to
the
one.
baby.
My son, when I was pregnant with my son, I'm not going to name the hospital,
Yeah.
but yes, that was the choice. And
I don't even think people even really realize that, nor do they realize the like what the percentage risk is of that. I think we all think we know people who have babies every day. So we're like, oh no, everybody's fine. I don't know very many people who've that, but it happens every day.
and the lack of awareness and education. Like, when I think about now,
Mhm.
if I would have known then,
Right.
I would have been like, get me up out of this
Wow.
hospital. Like, are you crazy? I'm up here just playing like, you know what, God, Jesus, listen, this baby we gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And we almost had a scare. My son came out, he had a cord wrapped. He was coming out faster than the football was going, and
Mhm.
and that scared us. Even my daughter had a scare. And it's just like there was no awareness.
Yeah, there was
I
no
didn't even
advocacy. You
know
didn't know what to
that I was supposed to be scared or nervous or even ask the questions of what was going
Yeah.
on. So
That's a great point. My daughter Ashanti came out and she had swallowed some of the fluids or something, so she wasn't breathing when she first came out. And the doctors were doing things, and I just remember how fast it was moving. She didn't start crying immediately. They're suctioning her out. They're taking her over away from us, and a very intense moment, very scary moment. And you don't know, and nobody's saying anything. It wasn't like they talked to us and was like, "Oh, this is what's happening." They just started doing stuff.
And they
I
have
had no
to
idea.
keep you calm, and because I totally understand it, but it's not the movies. The movies and
Yeah.
stuff make it seem like, oh, you get this process and this,
Right?
and then baby, like,
Smack the
no,
baby,
none of
and then
that
they hand you the
happens. I
baby
mean,
immediately.
one minute you in the kitchen with noodles, the next minute you bend over like, oh my God, I hate this life. Like, dad over there like, I don't even know
what to
what
do.
to
Do we go? Right?
Like,
Do we drive off now or not?
and in one instance, you could either be congratulating a new baby or, you may be shedding tears. And that is just the reality of being a doula, a midwife, a nurse, a doctor, anything in this healthcare profession. It's not always going to be perfect.
And you have to be ready for that,
You
ready
have
to
to
be
be
there
ready
for the
for that.
family. That's powerful. Toya said, childbirth is the closest thing to death. We need more of us in that room. Glad you are trained to be there, P. And it is. And interestingly, African American women have higher rates of death during. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It's my understanding that they have higher rates of death. Infant mortality rate is far higher, right?
Yes.
Okay. Talk to us about that. What is the truth of that?
No, it is the truth. I have said at several meetings and platforms where we have had these discussions. Now, I'm not always great with remembering the numbers,
Yes.
but it is a very high percentage of
It's unusually
minority
high.
African, unusually high.
Yes.
And it was a discrepancy here in Stark County,
heard that.
especially. I remember Representative Thomas, I can't, Mr. Thomas
Yes,
West
yes.
was one of the ones,
Mhm.
was one of the ones who vouched about that, about having that infant mortality, and we have Stark County Thrive, and we have the Hub, and we have community health workers, whether they're at the Greater Stark County Urban League. We have 2 community health workers there, or
Yes.
other organizations like Tiffany Scholar and the Access Health.
Yes.
We have all the Akron Children's. They are community health workers. They've been around, but that has just been the cycle of it. And it's like, how do we educate? How do we make sure this doesn't happen and bring awareness to even the younger generations? And there might be a decline in, the younger generations having children, but they're going to have children eventually if that's their choice.
Yes.
Or if they may want to adopt, or however that case may be. Maybe they want to do someone else having the birth for them. I mean, there's all types of options
Right.
nowadays when giving birth. And so you want to make sure everyone, whoever's in part of that process, is on board with making sure that they're voicing the concerns and respecting what mom wants for her birth. But it's also educating mom about, okay, what makes sense? Like your birth plan, this sounds great, but this is ChatGPT's birth plan. What's your birth plan? What you trying to do? How you want your baby? Because you can't have a golden casket. A golden carriage with your baby, and I want fruits and vegetables. Like some of the stuff is like, okay, this is great, but in the real world, honey, when that baby drops, it's going to be like,
That's hilarious.
it's going to be different. So it's just like, realistically, in a perfect world, what are your top 3 things that would make a successful birth for you?
Not the ChatGPT plan. ChatGPT is like telling you all kinds of stuff.
Listen,
Make
'cause
sure
the
you
whole
got your
people like,
favorite alcohol in the room, and
this is too
because as soon as
good,
the baby's out, you want to have some fun. And
that was one of the examples my instructors gave, and I looked at it, I was just like, you know what?
wow,
It'll give you a
some crazy
plan,
stuff.
and you're like,
It's
this.
not a birth.
We didn't even actually provide if this can even happen.
Right.
Like,
And then
who's gonna get the tub in your 2-bedroom house? How are we gonna
Right,
do
right.
this?
Where we coming out with this tub? Right.
out?
You barely got a
Okay.
tub at all.
But if that's what you want,
Right.
we gonna figure it
gonna
out. We're gonna have to
inflate
take you outside in the tent and get you
baptize you
clothes
out
or
there,
something.
take you down
If
to
you
the
in the
church.
water, we'll create man.
Take you to the water.
But that baby gonna be good. That baby gonna be
that
good.
baby gonna be baptized immediately, right? Immediate baptism.
Lord, don't get me.
That is fascinating. There's a lot of that people don't know. You're right, because it is true. Like you see those at-home births, and they have some big blow-up pool. I'm like, did that just stay in there for 9 months? You put that in there month, 8. I don't know. And then they're having the babies in there. And now that is a thing. I mean, that is still a thing, right?
And it's a beautiful thing. I've watched a lot of them on videos. I've never seen one in person, but I mean, it just seems so natural and relaxing. And that's what babies offer. They're in the water, so it makes sense. It's easier. You have gravity and everything kind of helping.
And a baby can be born and pop out in the water and be fine.
Fine. You can throw a baby in the water. That's what they tell you to put. I ain't put my babies in there. I never did that because I was like, well, then I gotta go in there, and I'm not. No one threw me in the water, so we just all gonna be in the water drowning. But there are people who just
right
who allow the babies are able to get into the hang of it because that's where they naturally come from is water. So
interesting.
They've been swimming all their lives.
They've been swimming all these months. So they're like, what is it?
They were swimming before the uterus. They be swimming after.
You hear what this girl is so silly. So they
wake up.
They swim into the uterus in the first place. They started
off been swimming all their lives.
They started off as a swimmer. They can still be a swimmer. You can't swim, everybody.
Swim. Don't tell nobody you can't swim. I can't.
Swimming.
I got 2 swims left for me. That's my kids. 2 swims to save my children. That's it. So they better not. They better not.
Just to save them. That's all
Just
you
to
got.
that's
But you're not out there.
that's it. They roll over to the next generation.
okay.
So if
Then
they don't, then I'll use them
once
for
they
the next
grown,
two.
it's okay. Then you
Yeah.
can if
You grown, you know
grandkids,
better.
right? What you know
Now
better
they know
than-
better. Like,
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So you're also a community health worker.
yes.
And you've been doing that for quite some time. Talk to us about what you can offer people. Somebody out there is like, what does a community health worker do? How could Panther help me? How can the Urban League or whatever it is? Talk to us about that.
Yes, at the Urban League. So a community health worker is a trusted person who's able to help people navigate through the healthcare system. You know, again, connect them to resources, help them overcome barriers. But most of the things, just be honest. The main thing is when you come to me, you know, you let me know what's going on. You know, my main objective is to make sure you have a doctor. You know, are you a primary care provider? You know, are you going to the doctor? Is you seeing your dentist? Are you in therapy? You know, if that's something you have, like everything health related. You know, how are you taking care of that? How are you navigating it? You know, are you being listened to? But in that process, it's also, you know, making sure, you know, are you connected with housing? You know, how are your daily living, you know, things going? You know, so helping people kind of just set plans, set goals, make sure that they are connected, make sure that they have those things in place, connect them to resources and give them the honest truth. You know, sometimes I may not have something, you know, and it's being honest instead of being like, oh, you know, here we go.
Right,
Here's
here it
another thing.
is.
I got
It'll
you.
work.
Like, I
Right.
don't have nothing for you sometimes. Or
Right.
some days I'm like, I got way too much for you.
Yeah.
It's all dependent on what's going on, but I always try to be very honest with my clients and also let them know the goal is to not need me. A lot of times I think people get comfortable in systems, they get comfortable in depending on someone. And I think when you are a parent, you can't do that because you already have dependents.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to make sure you are able to feel independent enough for your children, and to not need me. The goal is to level up. The goal is to get to a higher level.
Right.
Is it expensive? Yeah. But
Yeah.
the goal is to live the life you truly dream of and to be the individual you want. You don't want to be stuck in a cycle of a system. You don't want to be stuck in comfortability.
Yeah.
So I'm always honest, like, hey, I'm going to always help you. But once you have the information, it's now going to be up to you to decide what are you going to do with it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It is Toya said you've helped her family quite a bit. I love that. So people who use your services or use the services through the Urban League, is there a cost to that or how does that work?
Oh, no. It's free.
Okay.
You get all this for free 99.
Uh-huh.
As long as you have insurance. And if you don't have insurance, that is our job as well as community health workers. Me and Marche Allen, is to help you connect to that. You know, like, okay, well, here's the number. Let's get you situated.
Yeah.
You know, oh, so you have a job. Okay, well, what
What's
insurance
your
is through that?
income
What's
or
your
what's available at your job?
Yes,
and what's your
yes.
income level? Let's
So
get you some help. Yeah.
all that's connected when it comes to a community health worker. As far as a doula, that's totally different.
Right.
Until I become certified, I pretty much is like only private pay, or I can do some freebies, you know,
Sure.
and since I'm new,
You could
there's
do
no
some
point in trying to
freebies.
pay
Right,
everything.
right.
Like, let me get the
Freebies.
experience.
Right.
But then once I become certified, then that's also covered
Insurable.
in
Okay.
your Medicaid, Medicare, or
Okay.
whatever. So I just need your
That's
insurance card
awesome.
number. That's all we
That's
need in your
awesome.
life. So
I love it. Panther, keep
yes.
growing, keep excelling, keep sharing your journey, keep making us laugh, keep being a great community member, a great mom. Keep going,
Thank
Panther.
you.
We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us here at Lucas Live Media and just always being a part and being willing. I think that's so. One thing I've always loved about you from a media perspective is I've one, you've been podcasting. You haven't done it in a little while. We're gonna get her back. But you've been podcasting a long time. A lot of people didn't know that. And then creating content, which is just something I'm so passionate about. So it was always something that I was like, the alignment was always there. And I'm such a fan. You are so funny. You are consistent. You're like day such and such of such and such. And I think one day you missed or something. You're like, oh, I missed yesterday or something. But you're like sharing your journey with us. I love it.
I appreciate you. Shout out to my Greater Stark County Urban League, though. We out here. Please let us know. Greater Stark County Urban League, Queens Village, EMP Productions.
Let's
all y'all.
go.
Listen, I got shout out to my people, my family, you know, but
Yeah.
I appreciate the Lucas Live Me. I appreciate you.
You are Panther's on everybody's
I know
team,
I
just
forgot
so you know.
somebody.
She's highly recruited. So everybody is like, can you be on my team too? Shout out to everything you're doing. Again, yeah, you said it. Urban League, EMP Productions, Queens Village, I didn't know you do work with Queens Village.
Yes, we did. They'll get you.
familiar.
I definitely want to shout them out because they are a great asset here. They've been around for a while. There's a
Yeah.
Queens Village in Akron as well. If you happen to be in the Summit area, but Queens Village, they have even partnered, I think, with Melanated Mothers. I know they had a Melanated Mothers Day affair and everything.
yes,
So
okay.
just being in the room with those ladies and just sharing feedback has been awesome. So yeah, shout out to Queens Village of Canton, Ohio.
And the next committee she'll be on, ladies and gentlemen. If you need somebody, a board member, another committee member, reach out to Panther. She may not be able to say yes at this moment, but who knows? She's done it all. She can do it all. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show
you,
today. We've been working on
Lucas.
this for a minute. You know, you was one of my top
Yeah.
recruits. I was looking for you, and I'm glad we were able to work it out.
I'm glad too.
Yes.
Finally had the time.
Come back anytime.
You
You
know
know,
I
just
will.
call me and be like, I'm coming on next Tuesday.
I will.
And I'll be like, I guess we're having a show on Tuesday, even if we don't even have a show on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, I'm out.
You in there like that.
I'm in there.
Just let me know.
So I'm sliding.
Just slide it and make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. Panther Spurlin, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Lucas Live. We are wrapping up. Don't forget our great sponsors. Shout out to Sarda, Jessica Danielle Nails, the Linda Robinstein team, Ace Carpet Cleaning. Support those who support us as we support you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another great episode. Go follow our guests. If you came in late, go back and watch the replay. Watch our first guest. Watch our second guest. And tonight we have a special episode that's coming on. I'm making up new stuff. I don't know if I have time for the new stuff that I'm making up. We have a special relationship show. If you guys saw Ashanti Monroe on here the other day, she was crazy and hilarious and opened up a topic that I love to talk about. I think a lot of people love to talk about. We have curiosities, we have questions, we have issues, we have ups and downs and things in relationships. We have a great panel tonight. We have Ashanti will be here, Lily Price will be here, Janine Britt will be here, Robert Thompson will be here, Demetrius Rodriguez will be here. We got some men, some women. I think it might even be balanced between me and two guys. I think that's 3 guys and 3 girls. I think we're going to make it happen 6 p.m. tonight. Have a great conversation. It's going to be fun. But we're looking for you guys to watch tonight and interact as well. That is the goal. We're going to have a discussion, debate. We're going to talk about some things. And it's going to be a great time, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check us out on our night show tonight, our evening show tonight at 6 p.m. Follow those who follow us. And we'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Lucas Live. Everybody have a great day.